and we'll get started. So we have Lisa leading the session with help from Hayley, and Alexander and Sydney, who are past interns. So I'll pass it over to you now, Lisa. Thank you.
Cool. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. So I am HR advisor to the legal staff in the Auckland office, and also oversee the summer intern program. So yeah, been involved in the program. This is coming up my third or fourth recruitment season. So yeah, really looking forward to getting into it again for another year. And Hayley, I'll let you introduce yourself as well.
Kia ora team, I'm Hayley. I'm based in our Wellington office, and this is my 8th grad recruitment round. So I've been doing it for a while. A little bit disappointing to not be able to get down to Canterbury and Otago and get on campus. Usually we come down with a coffee cart, but COVID's kind of put paid to all of that the last few years. Yeah, so we are trying to do these things so that we get a little bit of engagement with the students and you guys get a chance to ask us any questions. But yeah, if you do have any questions, we're very open to questions. So interrupt us at any time. I don't know if you can, they can all take themselves off mute, can't they, Shannon? Yeah. So if you do have any questions, just let us know. Otherwise, we'll just plow on through our planned PowerPoint and yeah.
Cool.
Oh. So I guess a bit of an overview of Gully. We are a corporate commercial law firm. So we have 5 departments, the corporate department, the litigation department, we have a financial services department, a projects and real estate department, and a tax department. So corporate is definitely our largest department. So most of our summer interns will rotate through, well, actually corporate and litigation. Pretty much everyone rotates through both of those departments. And then the other 3 departments are smaller, tax being so small that we don't actually have a tax presence in the Wellington office. But all of our tax advice that is required for Wellington clients comes out of our Auckland office. So
and with our departments, we within those larger departments, we also have smaller teams, specialist teams within those. So for example, in litigation, we have employment and IP and media. In the corporate department, we have competition, and yeah, so it's quite interesting to sometimes look into some of the specialist teams within those larger departments as well.
Yeah. Cool. So within projects and real estate is our resource management team as well. So yeah, the departments are the overarching areas, but within them there are separate teams. In Wellington, we've got about 75 people in our office. There's about 210 up in Auckland, so they are the much bigger office. They take a lot more summer interns each year and a lot more grads as well. So we currently have 6 grads doing their professional studies, Sydney being one of those. And up in Auckland, I think you have 16 in your group.
18 in total, yeah.
18 in the group, and Alex is one of those. So it just triple the number up in the Auckland office, which kind of goes along with there are triple the number of people up there as Gully staff. So we try and create a work environment where everybody is welcome to bring their whole self to work every day. We have a number of groups. So I've currently been trying to plan some things for our parents network this morning. We have a Women at Gully group that does things to try and promote women in law. We have our Rainbow Network. We have, I'm just trying to think what other kind of networks we have. We've got a whole lot of networks and special interest groups as well within the departments and the teams of work that people are interested in. So we encourage people to join and support those networks where they can. We try and work with, so alongside of our graduate recruitment, we work with Tuputawa and Waikato Tainui as well to try and get more diverse perspectives and viewpoints into our summer intern groups. Yeah, so we are working on being a more diverse workplace and encouraging everyone to be themselves at work. So part of being a corporate law firm, so some people think, oh yeah, law, it's like suits, it's going into court every day, or they think that we are like the lawyers when people buy and sell houses, or they think that we deal with the family court or criminals. I'm assuming, seeing as you've joined this talk, you are aware of what Bell Gully does, but we don't really do any of those things. So if family law is your thing, Bell Gully is not going to be the place for you. If criminal law is your thing, that's not us either. So we deal with big corporate clients. So Air New Zealand is one of our large clients, Xero, Vodafone, the banks, Ngāi Tahu is a big client of the firm. So big corporates are who we deal with, working on generally fairly large and complex matters. And that's the stuff that gets our people excited. They like seeing the work that they've been doing on the front page of the paper. They like hearing about, they like being able to say, oh yeah, I was a part of that, I helped make that happen. Anything you want to add there, Lisa?
No, I think that captures it nicely.
Cool.
Cool. So now just I'm talking more specifically about our summer intern program. So our program runs from middle of November to middle of February, much like the rest of the summer intern programs. And our point of difference with the program is we offer 3 rotations. So as Hayley explained, we have our 5 key departments, and summer interns are asked to submit their preferences of what departments, and you can specify a team as well if you have a particular interest. So, and we do our best to accommodate people's preferences there. So it's great because instead of spending your summer in 1 or 2 teams, you get the opportunity to try 3, which we often find as well, people come in thinking that a certain area of law is for them, and they finish the summer with something potentially completely different. So having the 3 we find is a really great opportunity for our interns. As part of our program, we offer quite a comprehensive training sort of induction into the firm. So the first 3 or 4 days we focus on getting everyone up and running, and so we do a comprehensive IT training. We take you through different information services platforms, so Lexis Advance and Westlaw and all those kinds of platforms. I think students often say they wish they'd had that sort of experience earlier on in university, because I think they set them up really, really well. And we have different sessions that we run, like leadership speakers. Last year we had Emma Twigg come and speak to our interns, which was awesome, because she shares some really powerful messages about resilience and what you can achieve when you put your mind to it. So we really enjoy being able to run those kinds of sessions as well. And then so we also offer team building. So we went to Waiheke last year, and there was a team building event. So it's kind of an amazing race style type event, and the day is really just designed for the interns to really get to know each other and bond as a cohort. So it's a really fun day for us all. And and also throughout the summer program, there'll be different pro bono opportunities that we offer. So we do a lot of great work in the pro bono space as a firm, and so the summer program is a really nice opportunity for our interns to go and work with some of our pro bono clients and help out for the day. In recent years, we've sent groups to Make-A-Wish Foundation, which was a really rewarding experience for those interns, as well as Kids Can. We've sort of mixed up over the years, but those are always really, really rewarding days for our interns. And then buddies and mentoring. So as part of the summer program, in each of your rotations, you would be allocated a buddy. So that's someone who's a first-year lawyer, and they're just your person that you can go to for any questions while you're in that team, and they definitely look out for you while you're in that team. And everyone in the team is always really supportive of our interns. You know, when our interns arrive every year, it's everyone's favorite time of the year. I think it always signifies, you know, Christmas and just, you know, the fun season ahead. And everyone really enjoys having our interns in and getting them involved in things. So everyone in the team will act as a mentor to you. I know that there's a lot of our lawyers, senior associates who will really actively mentor people as well, and lots of team coffees and all that kind of thing, which is all really valuable, and great opportunities to hear about different people's careers. And, you know, they might have advice for you going into your last couple of years of uni and what direction you'd like to go in. And everyone, we find is really actively involved in being able to offer that sort of mentoring to our interns, which is great. Formal feedback. So with each of our 3 rotations, at the end of each of those rotations, Hayley and myself, we meet with each of the partners that you'd be working with to see how that rotation's gone. And we would also speak to your teams to talk about how, you know, what the work was that you produced for them. And it's just a really nice opportunity for us to, you know, give our interns feedback along the way, instead of, you know, waiting until the end of the summer to know how you've gone. It's great because every 3 weeks we're meeting and talking about you know, all of the different things that happen during the rotation. And so it's a great chance for you to keep developing and learning, because we know that, you know, not everyone's going to know everything, and, you know, there's a long way between being a summer intern and a partner. So there's always things that you can be developing and improving along the way. So those we find really useful. And then in terms of our graduate opportunities, so we're really selective about the number of interns that we take into our program, and we offer the number of summer internships that there are graduate opportunities for. So it's all about coming in, having a good summer and making the most of it. And if you have a successful summer, there's graduate opportunities there for all of our interns. So that's a great aspect of our program as well. So that's our summer internship in a nutshell. Is there any questions at this stage, anything that I haven't covered? No. So I think, as much as Hayley and I can sit here and explain things from an HR perspective, I think the really valuable part is actually hearing from Sydney and Alex about their experiences as summer interns, because they can tell you what it was actually like as interns. So so I'll hand over to Alex first to introduce yourself and just tell us about when you summer interned and what teams you rotated through, and then we'll go to Sydney after that.
Hey everyone, I'm Alex. I wrapped up studying at UC last year, and I summer clerked at Gully a couple of years ago now. So I summer clerked in the Auckland office, and I rotated through tax and then twice through corporate. Overall, it was a really enjoyable experience. Felt like I was a part of every sort of team I rotated through, and there was a real effort to sort of integrate me into every team through my buddies and also through, you know, the seniors in the team as well, which is really good. You get a lot of one-on-one contact with the partners that you rotate through. Sometimes even being able to sit in the office with them and listen to them taking calls and write emails and just interact with their clients generally, which is pretty priceless. Like Lisa said, as a summer clerk, you're sort of joining the firm as Christmas is coming around, and there are a lot of social occasions that come with that too. So, you know, there's Christmas parties as a general firm, and then you have your department parties and sometimes even your team parties. And then you also sort of socialize outside of work with your summer cohort. So that's also a really good experience too. And sort of following on from that, as Gully is quite a large firm that will generally take on more summer interns than the smaller firms around New Zealand. So you have a lot of opportunity to meet a lot of cool people and make some connections, you know, through uni, and then also as you go into the legal profession. So yeah, overall a really good experience, and would highly recommend applying. I'll pass on to Sydney now.
Hi everyone, I'm Sydney. I don't actually have much to add. I think Alex summed it up well. I finished UC last year too, and also did my summer clerkship the same year that Alex did, which was a couple of years ago. I did corporate, property and litigation at Gully, those 3 departments. And that was a good widespread for me. And like Hayley or Lisa said that having those 3 rotations, which a lot of firms don't offer, is actually really good. And I chose property, which I never would have picked otherwise. Actually, Hayley encouraged me to pick property. And I really enjoyed it. So I would recommend definitely applying and spreading your departments out as wide as you can, because the experience in a law firm is very different than what you think it will be at uni. And as I said, property was really enjoyable for me, which I was very surprised by, because I thought I would not like it that much. And yeah, like what Alex said, you get a lot of one-on-one time with your partners, and they're very supportive. So yeah, I encourage you guys to apply.
So what kind of work, maybe if you just keep going, Sydney, what kind of work did you do as a summer clerk? Was it you, or it might have been Kate? I remember on your first day, I think David pulled you out of training to attend a negotiation or a mediation or something.
Yeah, so the work's very different every day, but yes, that first day Kate and I went into a negotiation that ended up going for 4 hours, which was actually really enjoyable, and probably my favourite part of the whole experience is going into those negotiations. But the work is different every day. You, like Alex said, you'll sit in on client calls, which is actually really helpful. And sometimes you can do research for your partners or for another co-worker and just help anyone with anything that they need. So yeah, it varies every day, which is quite good because you learn a lot.
Anything that stood out to you, Alex, on the work front?
Yeah, just sort of following on from what Sydney was saying, it's all really, really varied. So each day you come to work, you'll sort of be working on different things, unless you're on a sort of specific team that's working on, say, for example, corporate, where they're working on a transaction, and you might be working on that whole transaction through your whole rotation. But yeah, really varied, and just really practical stuff as well, which I found quite different from uni particularly.
Did you say you were drafting emails for the partners to send to clients, or
Yeah, so some partners would actually give you a little bit more autonomy with what you did, and they would let you sort of draft emails, which obviously would be checked by them and then sent out, which I thought was a really valuable experience as well.
And I think, were you the year, Sydney, where there was a big thing going on in property while you were there, and it eventually, I think all of the summer clerks who rotated through that department worked on it, and it just got sent to the client at the end of the summer? Is that
I don't know if that was me, but I definitely
you.
did a lot of stuff for property because they had one big transaction, I think, that they were working on that whole time, which was really interesting, and something I liked about property that I was surprised by is how practical it was. So you'd go and look at the buildings that you were working on, which I found really interesting. And so the work you did was slightly different than the other teams in that it was a bit more practical because you could actually see what you were working on in terms of buildings and property. Yeah, it's cool.
While you're up in litigation, did they have you doing like research memos or?
Yeah, like Alex said, I did a bit of research and ended up drafting an email for a client, which was really interesting. And litigation is very different. Normally it strikes people straight away, or it doesn't, because it is a lot of research, and it's actually more similar to what you do at uni than any of the other departments, I think. Yeah, a lot of research.
Oh.
And then any highlights that stand out to you guys? What sort of coming away from the program? What things stood out to you the most?
I love those negotiations with the corporate team. They were lots of fun and exactly how you'd picture them. They got heated at times, which I loved. And also just socializing with your grads, you actually become quite close to them. And I think that having other grads that you're working in the same department with at the same time is really helpful, because if you have any questions, you can just ask them or someone else your age. So it's a lot more helpful. But yeah, good friends with them, which is nice.
Nice.
Yeah, just sort of following from what Sydney said, the sort of workmates that you make are really, really invaluable, because these people you're going to work through the profession with just sort of for the rest of your sort of career. and you're all sort of starting at the same position. Not many people have experience in a corporate law firm, so you're all starting at the bottom and sort of building up that experience together, which is really cool. And you'll sort of see if you intern at Gully that there's a really strong sort of cohort of summer clerks, and everyone's very similar in the sense of they have the same interest as well. So you'll definitely get along with your summer clerks that you intern with.
Nice.
Is there anything either of you wish you'd known before you applied or before you summer clerked, or any tips that you think you might be able to give these 7 or 8 people who have joined us here?
In terms of applying, I think with your, like the actual application, it would be good to just focus on a couple of firms that you really want to apply for, because I know for most people you'll just apply for everything and every cover letter is the same except for the name. But I would recommend picking a couple that you really want to apply for and looking into that firm and writing in why you actually want to work for Gully specifically. But apart from that, like the interview was very relaxed in my end, and actually probably the reason I chose Gully, because I enjoyed the interview and it was very relaxed and I got along with the partners. So that was actually nice. I enjoyed the application process a lot, actually.
Yeah, I'd also sort of add that you shouldn't hold back from applying simply because you don't think that you have the sort of commercial experience or any commercial knowledge which would be beneficial as starting with Gully, because before I applied, I didn't have any sort of commercial experience or knowledge, and that's just things that you pick up while you're actually working on the job and shouldn't hold you back from applying. And yeah, the interview process is very conversational and very casual, which is something which surprised me, because I was expecting like a very formal interview, but it was just like having a chat with a couple of the partners, which was really good.
Yeah, we're not big on formality.
Yeah.
For our interview process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. And then, so do you guys mind just taking us through where you're at the moment? So obviously you're both on profs, and then we'll be starting in the firm in April. And what departments are you going into? Oh, Sydney's already, actually you've both mentioned which departments, but yeah, what are you looking forward to about joining the firm full time? It's been a long time coming for you, so yeah.
Yeah, so I'm currently, Sydney and I are both currently completing profs. So we finished that in April, and then once we finish that, we'll start full time in the office, and I'm going into the corporate department in Auckland. Just most looking forward to actually getting stuck into some practical work. I spent a lot of time at uni just kind of, studying, which is very different to actually practicing in legal profession. So yeah, just really looking forward to actually getting into work and meeting new people, making new connections. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, same for me. I know I talked a lot about property, but I'm actually going into the corporate department.
Oh, sorry.
Which is really exciting. So I'm looking forward to that a lot. And profs has been enjoyable at the moment, but I'm looking forward to getting away from all the uni stuff. I spent 6 years at UC and I was over it by the end of it, as I'm sure a lot of other people will be by the end of that. And it's working in the firm is so much different than uni. You're not just by yourself all day studying. So I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Is there any questions that anyone might have for Alex or Sydney, or anything that you guys, anything else you'd like to add?
No.
No? Oh. So now we've just got a little bit of time to take you through our CV and interview process. So I'll hand over to Hayley for a few more tips in this area.
Cool. So our application, we ask for a cover letter, a CV, and your academic transcript. It doesn't have to be like a fully official transcript, just screenshots from your, I don't know if it's called My UC or whatever it's called, that just shows what your grades are. But we ask that you put those 3 things into one document and upload them as your application. So we then go through and we read each and every one of those. There's usually 500 or 600 of them, so that takes Lisa and I quite a long time. We then distill that down to a list for our grad recruitment partners. So there's 4 partners in the firm, maybe 5 now, up in Auckland, who are our specified graduate recruitment partners. So they then go through Lisa and I's shortlists, and they make the decisions on who we invite to interview. So of that 500 or 600, that gets narrowed down a fair bit, and first interviews will be via Zoom. So we do all our first interviews via Zoom because of COVID, and then we narrow that down further to second interviews. And our intention is to do second interviews in person. We have managed to do that the last couple of years, and hopefully this whole COVID mess will be over by the time second interviews come around, and we'll be able to fly everybody to either Auckland or Wellington, the office that they're interviewing for, to do second interviews and kind of have a bit of a function and get to meet people outside of an interview process. And then from there, we distill that down to the people that we are going to make Summer Clark offers to. So there will probably be around 20 to 30 offers made by Gully at the end of the whole process. It may be a little bit more or a little bit less than that. I think we're still just working out how many grad positions we've got in the future for how many summer interns we'll be able to have. But yeah, the interview process, if you are invited to an interview, is just as much about us finding out about you as it is about you finding out about us. So the people who do the interviews, they are our partners, and they are generally very passionate about their work, and they will enjoy talking to you about that. So if you have got specific questions for them, we do encourage you to ask questions at your interview. As both Sydney and Alex said, our interviews are quite conversational. They're not tell us about a time when, or give us an example of kind of interviews. They're more about what you're enjoying at uni, what you hope to get out of a summer clerkship, the kind of areas of law that you're interested in, that kind of thing. So there's generally two partners. That might be one partner and one senior associate. It just depends on who we get to do interviews this year, but there will be two of them that you can ask questions of, and we will give you advance notice of who those people would be. So you can look them up on our website and get a fair idea of what it is that they do. So you can kind of tailor your questions around that. But yeah, the second interviews, we generally have a function as part of that so that you can meet a few more of our people. So we would have not just the interviewing partners, but a few of our other people at that as well, so that you get more of a feel for who we are and what we're about. Yeah, I think that kind of covers the information on the slide. Does anyone have any questions about the application process or the interview process at Gully? There's not some like random bit where people are submitting written questions that I can't see, is there? No, okay. That's fine.
Cool. And then in terms of our timing for recruitment this year, here's just a summary of when each of those stages are taking place. So applications open on the 10th of March next week and close on the 28th of March. And then with our first interviews taking place end of April, early May, second interviews 10th of May, and then offers on the 13th of May. So yeah, that will give you a better idea of sort of the timings ahead. And we also, we align our timings with the other large law firms as well, just to avoid putting pressure on you with clashing deadlines if you need to make decisions. So yes, so our timings will be aligned. So that takes some pressure out of the process.
I have seen a question pop up.
Nice.
So just thank you for sending that through. So it's just on how lengthy should your CV and cover letter be. So a cover letter, I guess, a page is fine. If it goes a bit over, that's okay. We're not looking for like 1,000-word essay or anything like that. So I don't know how many pages 1,000 words would take up, but make it look like a letter, I think, is a good tip. It is a cover letter. You don't know how to set out a letter, Google it. There's heaps of examples online. And as building on what Sydney said, tailor it. If you are applying for a specific firm, tell them why. Tell them why you're interested in them in particular. We are well aware that people apply to more than one firm, and that is absolutely fine. But if your cover letter is blatantly a generic one and you've like global replace Bell Gully with another name, then that's not something that gets us particularly excited. But if you've included the reason why you're interested in Bell Gully, that you've seen a particular deal in the newspaper and that you've seen this particular partner has worked on it and you really want to work in that area and that's why Bell Gully, then that's something that sets you apart from others. So that's quite cool. How long should the CV be? As long as it takes to kind of capture what you've done. So could be 1 page, could be 2 pages, anything more than that. You might want to cut things out, but it's kind of up to you what you put in there. But generally, any work experience that you've had, we are interested in. If it's paid or unpaid, doesn't really matter. We look at all sorts of things. So the transcript is one part of the information that we have about you, but it is not the be all and end all. If we can see, so there's another question now, would you say Bell Gully has more an emphasis on candidates being well-rounded or academic? So that's where I was just going with this. We look for well-rounded people. So someone with straight A pluses who's never done anything else is maybe not quite as interesting to us as someone with Bs, but they've also had a full-time job throughout uni and played in a sports team and been on the, I don't know, one of the club's exec teams. So we are looking for more than just grades. We are looking for well-rounded candidates.
And we're also looking for different types of candidates, because I think I often get asked, you know, what should I put in my cover letter, or what sort of candidates are you looking for? And we're not looking for one kind of person, because we're a large firm with a lot of different teams and departments, and you know, we don't want a full cohort of extroverts or a full cohort of introverts. You know, we need people, different types of people who communicate in different ways and have different interests. And so I think just be yourself, tell us about who you are, and just focus on that, because we are looking for different types of people. Yeah.
I would say, as another tip for your cover letter and CV, have someone else proofread it. So the number of them that we do get through with the wrong firm name or spelling mistakes or like whatever comes through, have someone else have a look at it, because you've probably looked at your CV and your cover letter 1,000 times and you'll be a bit blind to the mistake. But if someone else looks over it for you, then that can sometimes point those out. That's just a tip. You've got someone that can help you with those things. Cool.
Oh, I'll just jump in there and say that's what we are here for as well. So UC Careers will help with any of your CV and application questions. I mean, I would really recommend coming in and seeing us and booking in a session probably soon, since applications are opening on the 10th. But yeah, we can help you to make sure that you stand out and get noticed by Bell Gully.
Awesome.
Yeah, so applications do close on the 28th, but if possible, make sure you apply like at least the Friday before, so that if there are any technical glitches or anything goes wrong, you've got a chance to sort that out. Leaving things to the last minute is usually is the catalyst for things to go wrong. So try and get your application in before that last day if possible. Oh, you've got to, what are your minimum GPA requirements? So I guess the minimum is a pass, but it is, I mean, the better your grades, the more that kind of reflects, well, not necessarily the effort that you've put in, but we don't have a minimum, although I say that you do need to pass to get a practicing certificate. You need to have a law degree. So we can't take anyone who won't pass their degree. but yeah, we don't have, like, we don't put a ruler across and say anyone below a B is out. That's not how we do it.
And don't self-select yourself out. I think a lot of people think that you need to be an A+ student to apply, but I think just put your application in, tell us about yourself, show us your experience, and we can go from there.
I'll just jump in with a tip for applications. What I'd say is, like, really focus and emphasize on your personal interests. So even if you don't think that they align, fully with corporate law, or you don't think that it's something you should bring up, I still think you really should, because I did the same thing, and my whole interview was essentially just talking about, like, one, my full-time or my part-time job at the time, and then two, I talked with a partner about football for literally half the interview. So like I said, the interviews are very conversational, and you should really just emphasize your interest, because it shows Gully who you are as a person, and that's beneficial in your application.
Absolutely agree with that. Yeah, we've got one guy who likes to remind us that half of his interview was discussing the hot dog eating competition that he had won and put on his CV as an achievement. So things like that, they just give us a bit of a flavour of who you are, and that's what we want to see come through from your CV and your cover letter.
Any other questions? And so our HR team in Auckland, it's myself and my colleague Jaden. If you're applying to Auckland, you'll hear from either one of us. So feel free to get in touch with myself or Jaden directly if you've got any questions about the process, or if you want to give us a call to just go through any questions you might have. We're very happy to do that. And here's Hayley's details as well. So feel free to get in touch with Hayley for any questions about the Wellington office. Thank you very much for hosting us today, Shannon. We're happy to take any other questions if there's any others, but all the best for recruitment season, everyone, and we look forward to receiving your applications.
And thanks, Sydney and Alex, for joining us as well.
Thank you.
Cool.
Look forward to seeing you guys soon.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks.
Just jump off.
Yes.
Thanks very much for that, Shannon.
Oh no, thank you guys. That was great. I can't believe that these students are showing up without their faces on the screen.
Is UC a person, or is that like a group of people sitting in one room watching this together, perhaps?
Oh, that's events.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah. I presume it's
one less person that was watching us.
Yeah. Great. So I will. Oh, I should have stopped recording.